Do you think the government's position, literally, in regards to what is happening in East Africa, is it contributing to the shrinking newsroom, or is it just, a certain wave? And what is the role that we have to play right now to ensure that this doesn't, get along to the other East African countries currently? I'll start with you, Rashdi, if you don't mind.
Of course, I think you've put it out clearly, because our sister station, NTV Uganda, is currently closed because of course political issues with the Ugandan authorities. But just to answer you, this interference by the authorities or the national government is really a big problem. It's a major problem. And it's not only like national government, it also goes to politicians. Sometimes we look at it from the national view, but in Kisumu here, you'll hear maybe the governor or in Nyanza complaining about a vernacular radio station that reported or something. So we should not just view it as national. It cascades down to tabia mbaya by politicians or government. It's really affecting our operations. For instance, now if NTV Uganda is closed, leave alone just the immediate effects, which are guys losing jobs, pay cuts, and all this. The government interference, especially you mentioned President Ruto. There's a time, I think, was it last year, when the CS ICT Owalo was there. They just decided that they're not going to advertise anymore with private media companies. Mm-hmm. All adverts goes to a particular media station, not just through my government, the publication. So this really affects, especially the revenue streams that come with within the media houses. So government interference is also a major issue. While we're trying to navigate through this, the government, which is priding itself on supporting media freedom, yet it's the one also just being on their necks. Way forward is, as journalists, we must see this as I don't want to use a wrong word, but we must view the government as a joint enemy, as in we face it equally. Because if you see Standard in Alemewa and you're clapping, you're in the wrong profession. Mm-hmm. If you see Nation is being attacked, just know the next media house. So what we can do, way forward, is we raise these issues. Mm-hmm. We face the government, we call them out, and ensure that when you call somebody out, you get the attention of not even those in the country, but also globally. So this can really, either they'll stop or it will be a wake-up call. So I'm just urging, we collaborate. We don't view it as a one station or a media house problem, because ukiona ni jirani ama ni Kiswahili unajua ni tricky. Afadhali Laura alipata a minus. So I got an A in Swahili. The message is, let us combine and also just work together to face this particular problem. Let's call them out, because trust me, it's really affecting the media houses. Yeah.
Okay, asante sana. Laura, your reaction?
Yeah, I think it's a running problem, and it's not just when in Kenya, for example, it's not just the proclamation by government that is not going to advertise with local the private newspapers, because then that shrinks revenues. Even in broadcasts, there was a time when there was a shutdown for live streaming for all media houses. And I think it was one of the maandamanos, June 2024, one of them, there was a total shutdown. And this niite hulka tabia mbaya ya serikali trying to interfere with media freedom. It's just seeing them speaking from both sides of the mouth. Because one day the president would say, hata muliona kwa magazeti. When you're praising him, you're a very good person. Mm-hmm. But then when you now begin critiquing, it becomes, it's ni ya kufunga nyama and things like that. And we see a lot of that. I think the way forward, and it's not just even Tanzania also has some of these issues. And when I speak to my friends in Tanzania, there are stories you really cannot write. And even if you look at, you read some of the newspapers from Tanzania, you won't see a lot of critique for government. It's not that they don't want to, it's that if you do it, you will not survive. And you know, at the end of the day, a media enterprise, especially private ones, it's a business at the end of the day. So it has to make money. So people are just trying to find what they can. I think what can be done is that corporate entities can step in to fill that revenue gap. Ensure that you advertise with this local newspaper so that they make money to continue telling these stories. And then now content creators can also come in, because today the government is attacking mainstream or legacy media. The next frontier they will come to is you. And we've seen a lot of that. People have gone missing just because of tweets that they made. It's a systemic issue. It's not just affecting the mainstream media, but even social media. So we need to really join forces, like Rashdi said. Let's call out when these things happen. We continue speaking continuously, and maybe, who knows, maybe powers that be can decide to introduce sanctions to governments that stifle media freedom, and then maybe that can be a turning point where we can see governments really taking their hands off the cookie jar, which is media in Kenya and East Africa.
Okay, thank you so much, Laura. And Rashdi, just diving deep into the conversation, the shrinking newsroom. You know, it has been painted as all doom. Like that is how every other person is looking at it. What would you say are the, first of all, who are going to be affected majorly? Because the reality is there are people who are in the media space who are being affected with the shrinking newsroom. And then two, this will be you, Laura, if you can react to this. What are the new opportunities that are emerging with the shrinking newsroom? I'll start with you, Rashdi.
I'll start by saying nobody's safe, actually. Nobody's safe, from the security guard at the gate to the one and to serve chai, to those who are distributing papers, to those even who suppliers with food in the offices, in the media house. I'll give a good example. Of course, it's public knowledge. Actually, Godfrey knows more than any other person that some of our media houses, including The Nation and other media houses, are closing offices. So when this happens, of course, one, the secretary first, the receptionist, hiyo job haiko. Mtu anakuwa anatengeneza chai, job haiko. And any other person, security guard and all that. Those who are supplying us at Mega Plaza now might not get that chance because the people you are serving are not there. First, of course, you are sat down and being told, you guys, we love to see whether we need these numbers within the machine. So, of course, the human resource must reduce in a way. And this will go to either even ICT to assemble. If you are three, now IT department, I think one person, itabidi you step up or two. So one person will have to go, drivers and all that. When people reduce and all that. So it's everybody, not even just journalists themselves, but everybody. But how do we go about this? How can you survive in this environment? I think Laura touched on it. You have to adapt. You have to stand out. Lazima stand out, because by the time watawana sema tunachagua huyu watasema but Laura she can report, she can write a story on online, digital, citizen digital. Yeye anaweza fanya paint. Sasa anaweza piga video, or then cameraman ataenda. So you have to be a multimedia, an all-rounded journalist for you to survive. So you have to stand out in whatever department that you are in. That will help you, at least if this happens, you don't perish. But still, lazima uweke macho pia nje. Look at opportunities that will make you, as much as you are in this media house, look at other opportunities outside there and to get in line with whatever you trained on. So that will really help. But everybody will be affected, including our bosses, where you had 7 board members, or it's how we have 5 and all that. So it's everybody. So nobody is safe. But still, there's a way to adapt to this. Have train your journalists to upskill them so that they have more skills, that now you don't have to get people outside there, and just be creative in whatever you do, and then you stand up there.
Oh, thank you, Rashdi. Yes, Laura.
Yeah, I think first of all we have to establish that storytelling is not going anywhere. That is where we should begin from.
Yeah.
So it can be that one form is dying, but another one is coming in its place. Because when you're actually alisema lakini msee umekula chumvi aliona tapes zikipeanwa airport. Hizo ni vitu tulikuwa tunasoma tunakuwa kitambo watu walikuwa wanapeleka tapes airport zikienda kupeleka footage. So I think it is that evolution that comes. So whoever adapts and rides that wave is the person who will survive. I'm saying that because opportunities, like normally I wake up naangalia, and sometimes I even discuss with the people in my circles, and we're overwhelmed. Hata tujui sasa tuweke kwa gani na tuache gani, because there are so many that are out there. And the only way you can crack that level of getting so many opportunities coming your way if you are diverse enough. Nowadays utaona waandishi, I think 90% of us utapata mtu anasema I am a multimedia journalist. That is where the opportunity is. And don't just think about, and I know students wenye wako hapa, a lot of them mtu wanasemanga tu mimi nataka tu kwa Lilian Muli, mimi ndasomanga tu news, watu wanionange tu kwa TV. You know, hata gazeti you won't, sijanga hata mtu akisema nataka kuandika gazeti. Everybody wants to be on TV or on radio or all these things that look really glamorous. But understand that these people also do other things on the side. Huyu mtu ni producer, bado atajitafutia content ya hiyo show yake, bado atafanya a lot of behind the scenes zenye zina happen huko chini, anatoa the creative direction on how the show is supposed to look like. Ndio uone mtu amekaa kwa TV for that 1 hour, there's a lot that they did behind the scenes. So ask yourself, nini yo zenye unaenda kufanya extra that is really going to make yourself stand out? Your phone nowadays, you know, and I understand sometimes kuna news sources who are very rude. People like Atroli atakuuliza ni kamera ndogo hivi unataka kuniwekea kwa macho yangu, they really don't want it. But then that is where the world is evolving to. Storytelling is changing in that way, and you even see a lot of traditional newsrooms now. I don't think there's any media house in Haiko TikTok. Everybody is there and they do all these challenges and all these things. So the opportunities exist in terms of diversifying what it is that you do. And it's not just about the content that you make. Kuna watu wako very strong in fact checking. Hawa wanakaanga tu chini wanangoja mtu akishaandika story, they now pick it. Ama wakati after president ameshaongea, they're going to pick that and they're going to fact check. And it's a lot of work, I understand. Now sometimes some of us come into journalism because we think it's glamorous and you know it's being seen and your name is known, but then there's a lot of work that goes on in the background. Be willing to read and expand really what it is that you know, and then use that knowledge to work at tentacles in so many baskets, and you'll find there's a lot of opportunity. The organizations that are literally headhunting, wanatafutanga tu, I'm looking for a storyteller who's going to do something on maternal health. And that is all they want. So already if you have a portfolio, no matter how small it is, in your TikTok ndio siku hizi I think is so rampant. You're doing those vertical 2-minute videos. That is what is going to really sell you out. So opportunities are there. We're just adapting and we're riding that wave to see how well we can adapt to that.
Wow, thank you so much, Laura. Rashdi, yesterday's employer was looking at the ability of you getting to the airport fast enough with the tape. What is today's employer looking for in a journalist in interviews? What are they looking for?
Digital first. That is, for instance, I'll give you an example of Nation Media. We're given a rule here 5-10-30. 5-10-30. So 5-10-30 means 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. So you're in an accident scene. Ama umesikia kuna breaking news. So the first 5 minutes you are supposed to generate an alert. An alert is only one paragraph. Let me just use an accident. An accident happens along Kakamega. 3 feared dead or 2 confirmed dead. 13 injured, rushed to JTRH, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital. Hii alert inaenda. Those unaonaga zile cards zinaenda za alert. That is done within 5 minutes. The next 10 minutes unapatiana few paragraphs. Ilikuwa gari ilikuwa imetoka wapi, nani amesema nini, polisi amesema nini, witness. So like 6 paragraphs. Iende na hiyo story unasikia more to follow. Then 30 now story now you're online, a full story, maybe 350 300 words. Then now when you come back to the office, now you sit on day 2. You don't just report 2 people died. what is it? Like for instance, the roundabout that ilikuwaga issue. Of course, some people were saying that my friend was doing something there. My friend that had said, I talked about earlier, the lake. But it happened that why accidents are is happening around that area was because of the design of the road. So why? You go back to research that she's talking about. So digital first is what employees wanaangalia sana. And then how diverse are you? Unajua how many skills do you have? Can you edit? Can you edit a story? Can you write a story? So kuna story ya Rashid Udia gazeti, kuna Rashid Udia online, reporting NTV, kuna Rashid Udia. So like you have to be diverse. And then also the niche was talking about, you have to like, tukitaka mtu akuriport on politics, Rashid. How good are you in this politics? How good are you in environmental reporting? So this is what, hakuna ile sijui ni mandeka stories mingi hivi ama what you can do ama how many sources do you have. I know Raymond Omolo will pick my call, or maybe John Buddy will pick my call when I need something. No, what value do you add to that newsroom? Digital first. You must be diverse in your you have to have many skills, and just how do you stand out first? How do you stand out? There's something Laura's mentioned. Watu wanaogopaga gazeti or print because print naye itabidi research. Itabidi hakuna shortcut. I usually say that in radio, sound will help you deliver your news. In TV, sound na picha itakusaidia. But in print or in gazeti, you have to create that sound. In your storytelling, you have to create that image and sound in telling that story, and that's why I love print. You have to be descriptive, you have to be all that. So you have to stand out. That is what will make you apart from others. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Rashdi. Very, 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 very intentional insights. Laura, let me come to you, and this is an orthodox question. If you lost your job today, how will you survive as a journalist?
As a journalist or as a person?
As a journalist. As a journalist and then as a person.
Yeah. So it is a reality that we deal with every single day. You can literally lose your job anytime because, and actually when we sit in certain meetings, because siko mdogo sana, you know, they're always telling you we have issues with revenue. Everybody now needs to go out, look for money, even if you're doing stories, get me sponsored stories. That's what now the employer is looking for. Yeah. In as much as you want to do your news, your usual news, but then how do we make money out of this? So if I were to unfortunately be fired by Citizen, I also contribute at Mongabe. As the thing I mentioned about diversifying, don't just diversify in your craft as in unaizanga fanya shoot, kuandika and doing like things, so many things, but how many other outlets can you write for? You can do that as well, because as a journalist, it's you're not hauko confined mahali pamoja, you know. We see Larry Mado anafanyanga news, utamwona TikTok, utamwona wapi, utamwona kifanya kila kitu. It's not that anafanyanga hizo vitu because he has nothing better to do with his time, but it is because you really need to be in a space where even if you left, you build your name to the level where you can make money from your name. So kama sitakuwa naandikia Citizen, I would still be getting some gigs on the side in terms of writing for maybe like an NGO that does environment. I have quite a number within my circle. So I even do consultancies on the side because of the same. So it's quite easy to monetize your craft. That's what I would say. I would now be more serious in monetizing it. Right now I can't do it full time because my other 2 day jobs, but I would monetize my craft like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And finally to both of you, starting with you, Rashdi, what are the opportunities that you see that are available for all of us, yet we can't see? There are hidden opportunities when it comes to the newsroom actually shrinking. Which opportunities can we be able to run to and grab?
We underestimate or underrate ourselves. And this, I think, ni on goal pia. It happens to watu wa magazeti. We fear cameras. Nilikuwa naona hapa na naona tomorrow naona my lights. Laura is used to it. I'm not. But what I would say is the opportunities that are there, this content creation, unajua sometimes mnasema ati journalists na content creators na we create content yani kila siku, but even in our minds are like how content creators are. So content creation is big. Sometimes tunaenda interview these content creators and I'm like mbona hii kitu ikikuwa nianze kufanya mapema. Watu wanasema hey Rashid Udia, you can have followers, you have a following, but what are you doing with it? But I think also I'll take that challenge to a media house. They should not really tire us, because like Laura said, kuna ka clause umekewa kwa contract that you cannot like, it will be like you're producing a parallel media, you're like running a parallel media outlet. But we should be allowed to express this. Through that, you create your brand and also the brand, the media house you work for. At the media houses allow, I usually see like the people can post something, you cannot. So it's a low-hanging fruit that sometimes it takes a big, say a leap of faith to say, hey, nation, it's a wrap. Let me go fully to content creation. Sometimes we fear it, it's something in us, but it's low-hanging fruit. If you already have the skill and the training and all that, and the experience, now transforming that to now content creation and also monetizing it, it should be a low-hanging fruit for us. But again, to Nagopa, and also there's that thing that ties us, that you cannot, there's contract, of course, the legal thing that tie us. But I think it's the low-hanging fruit that we can go for.
Wow, thank you so much. Laura, opportunities hidden?
Yeah, opportunities that a lot of people are missing. This is controversial, but AI is a huge opportunity there. I recently attended a meeting and they were saying that as where we are right now globally, we have only exploited 1% of what AI can do. Wow. Yeah, if it were unaona watu wanapiga kelele and people are saying it's taking over jobs, that's only 1% of what it is. So there's a lot of opportunity in AI in terms of you can literally be what's your name, bro? Trevor can have his own media house from where he's sitting because of AI. He doesn't need to go out to source for some of that content. I've seen people who solely exist, or their entire craft and the things that they do are based on the things that they've sourced from the internet. Like you see a trending topic on something, you take that, do a full story, no fresh interviews. You just do your research, and these tools are helping you, build an entire storyline, not like the story itself, build an entire storyline, and it's posted. It's quite controversial, but I think as we talk about the evolution of storytelling, we also need to ask ourselves, how then do we use AI to make money? Tusiangalie kama it's not an enemy. It's not an enemy for real, because I use a lot of AI for transcription, because when you write and you have to quote what someone said, sometimes you've sat in a meeting for 4 hours. Where's the answer kuandika hizo vitu zote? That's an old style of doing things. You just feed it into whichever tool you have, it gives you the full transcription, and then now you use that to grow. I think AI is one of the areas that is just out there, but maybe we don't quite have the know-how to use it really well to make money. And also data journalism. We don't have a lot of those people. If you identify as a data journalist, you'll be headhunted by so many people, and they do that on freelance basis. They move from one media house to the next, because journalists in general are afraid of numbers. Hakuna mtu anatakaka kuanza crunch those things and looking into what the budget policy statement says. So there's a lot of opportunity as well in data journalism, but all this, angalia tu venye utaeka AI hapo ndani, because I feel like that is where we really need to exploit so that we enjoy this new age of storytelling that we are moving into.
Wow, what a point to end it. Thank you so much, Rashdi, and thank you so much, Laura, for joining us for this conversation. And we're hoping that this is just the first of many, and we can keep on engaging in conversations that build the media. Asante sana.